Hi everyone, I'm Heather Overman, City Council member, and I'm joined here today with our City Manager, Charlie Funderburk. And we wanted to have a conversation with you about some updates to our recycling program. You may have seen my post. It was shared lots of times, so a lot of people have seen it. I understand the frustration. I understand the confusion. We're all facing the same situation, and we just want to make sure that we clarify some things so that everybody's on the same page and fully understands everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in some of the comments that we received and try to answer those as best we can. So the first question was, when will we have to eliminate our recycling program? So the cost for us to recycle from 2007 up until about 2015 was zero. Our hauler or collector, in this case Signature Waste, they were being paid for the recycled material that they were collecting from our residents. It now costs them $20 a ton to pick up that material, take it to a recycling processor, and drop it off. Contamination levels have increased to a point that if we don't get it under control, that number will go from $20 a ton up to $40 a ton. Other recycling processors are charging anywhere from $100 to $120 a ton, so you can understand the bargain that we're getting here. If and when it hits that $40 a ton number, we will actually be paying more for recycling than trash. And Signature currently doesn't charge us for recycling. The $14.80 that you currently pay every month is just for trash collection. So if the recycling rate doubles, that can be an added expense of anywhere from 50 cents to $1 per household. And the recycling processor, they're just receiving so much trash, that contamination issue in our recycle loads, that they can't handle it. And they're not going to allow our hauler, Signature Waste, to continue to come back to the facility over and over again if we're just throwing our garbage in the recycling. So that either puts us in a situation of being able to go to another processor and paying over $100 a ton, or discontinuing the service altogether. And the reality is we just can't pay that amount.
Yeah, the economics definitely don't make sense to continue to do that. And you spoke to the contamination. This isn't a landfill facility where our recycles are going, but we're basically turning this recycle center into a landfill because of our contamination numbers. Right. Yeah, no doubt. So somebody, one of the other comments was, why are plastics no longer recyclable? Yeah, basically you got to forget everything you were taught growing up in regards to recycle. You got to reboot, you got to reset. Glass, plastics, cardboard, things like that. We're always taught that's recyclable. So yeah, everybody's aware. Glass was taken out July of 2017, 2018. 2018. So now, why plastics? That seems like a very recyclable thing. Well, while many collection companies and processing companies are still accepting the plastics, they're actually not being processed. That market has disappeared nationwide and really globally. Yeah. One of the links that Ms. Overman shared was a CBS news story. It was actually run this past weekend on their 60 Minutes segment. Really kind of hits home and explains that. But at the end of the day, just like glass, there's just not a recyclable market or a market for those recycled plastics. Only 9% of the plastics are actually being recycled. So right now, while if friends that live outside the city and their haulers are like, oh yeah, we still take plastics, even at the county the county convenience centers where they're still taking plastics, well, they're not the ones that are processing that. They're taking it to a processing facility, and they're stockpiling warehouses and warehouses of baled plastics. And they've got nowhere to take them. So they're trying to hold on to them until the market hopefully comes back around in another year or two. Or they're just going to end up having to put them in the landfills. We're hopeful that maybe even glass will come back around, but the list of recyclable items, I mean, it seems to disappear each month, and that's all dictated by the global markets.
Yeah, that's right. It seems like we're getting picked on almost, right? We're a smaller city, and so we're the ones getting hit first. Larger cities, they have more capabilities, they have more funding, they have more options to do more things. A lot of cities use sorted bins. We have our bin commingled, for example, and so somebody actually has to go through and sort all of that material, and that there's a cost associated with that as well. This problem is probably going to get worse before it gets better.
Yes.
And so while we're feeling those impacts now, others will very soon.
Most certainly.
Yeah, this has moved very quickly. So.
Well, and you even touched on it in your post. A lot of cities have already discontinued or suspended their recycling programs all over the state. A lot of them even nationwide. The most recent one here locally was City of Lancaster.
Yeah.
As I spoke to their city manager, he cited the same issues, increasing cost. It just, the economics did not make sense to continue offering that program, and instead letting folks just go to their county convenience centers, and contamination. So, this isn't a new issue. It's just finally hitting us, and it's going to start hitting others as we continue to go, no doubt.
Yeah. Another question we got was why, or can we still take plastics to the Baxter Recycling Center? That's the closest facility that your county provides to us. Yes, as of right now, you are still able to take those plastics to the county. I can't, dictate what's going to happen in the future with those or what their decisions are going to be, but for the time being, they are still accepting those.
Right. Yeah, and we touched on glass a little bit, but where are the markets for glass? Well, at the single stream recycling centers in this area, there isn't one. The commingled glass market has disappeared. So folks have hit us with, well, why can the county still take my glass? Well, if you've been down to any of the county convenience centers, it's sorted. Amber glass, green glass, clear glass is all in a separate bin, because there is still a small market for the sorted glass. So if recycling is important to you, and we hope that it is, take your glass down to the county. You put it, sort it and put it in those bins. The closest processors for glass, there's one in Raleigh, there's one in Atlanta. So to expect our local hauler, collector to run a recycle route, switch from single stream to sort it at the curb, and then try to sort the glass, drive it all the way to Atlanta, drive it all the way to Raleigh every week. That's I think we'll exceed the $100 to $120 a ton mark at that point.
I mean, there's no processing centers within South Carolina, and glass is heavy. It's heavy to transport. It's heavy to process. It costs a lot of money to process, and so all of these things, are economic factors. They're environmental factors, but they're all contributing to the same problem.
When you talked about the weight of it, we really don't want you to throw the glass in your trash cans. We encourage you to take it down to the convenience center where they will still recycle that sort of glass, because what we don't need to happen is our tonnage in trash, which glass is probably the heaviest thing being thrown in there. We don't want for it to go up, because right now it's $39 a ton on trash, and our rate is based on what our average tonnage is. If that spikes through the roof because everybody decides, all right, well, I'm not going to do anything with my glass but throw it in the trash, we're still going to be battling this as we continue to move forward.
So why do some companies still take certain plastics and glass? I know we touched on this earlier, but really it has to do with money.
Yes, no doubt.
We can do anything you want. It costs a lot of money to do that. So the facility that they're taking it to, whether they have single stream, commingled, all in one bin, or they're sorting it out, makes a difference. Where it's going, so what warehouse it's going, how it's being baled and stacked. What are some other things that we could talk about? We talked about the market for glass.
Well, yeah, and there are some. There's only a handful of single stream processing centers in this area that are even relatively convenient, and this is in the greater Charlotte area. Some of those processing centers, they are also tied to landfills. So your plastics may be coming in the front door and then going out the back door to a landfill.
That's right.
And unfortunately, there's some companies out there that. They're telling you they're picking up their recycling, and unfortunately, it may just be going to a landfill altogether. With the hopes that, well, I'll just take it to the landfill for now, but eventually the recycle markets will come back around. Signature Waste isn't one of those companies. We're not going to partner with a company that would do things like that.
Right.
Signature Waste is trying to follow the rules that the processing centers have put out and what the global markets are dictating. So,
and it's important for us. We want to be ethical. We want to be open. We want to be honest with you. And so all of this information we're getting out to you as quickly as we're receiving it. Yeah. There really is, there's nothing that we're keeping or hiding from you.
Exactly.
We want you to be aware of all of these things. So that goes into the communication
piece.
piece.
Absolutely.
So how are we telling people about this, right?
Yep.
So in addition to social media, and I know not everybody is on social media, we're going to be doing things like updating our email, our weekly email newsletter that goes out, the Rewind. If you haven't already subscribed to that, you can go on our website and do so. It'll be on our Comporium channel 115.
Yes.
We're going to be sending out inserts into the utility bill. We did one this past October, I believe. We'll be doing one again this January. So in the next few weeks here, you'll be receiving one. If you receive an e-bill, you don't get a paper bill in the mail, that will be emailed to you as well, so you can get that. We want to get this information out to you in all forms that we can, but it's important for everyone to be involved in the process to stay up to date on the changes so that we can make sure that the information that we're putting out is actually getting to you.
Well, and they really showed us that they are paying attention when we do communicate. So we started this process last July because our contamination numbers had gotten really high, and we needed to get glass out of the mix. And what we saw was our contamination levels on a steady decline as we put together our education campaign through communication. And as we communicated, you listened, as evidenced by the fact that those contamination numbers really started to drop. In October, it hit a bottom. I mean, it really hit an all-time low. And that kind of coincided with where we wrapped up our communication schedule. We thought, okay, everybody has learned, everybody knows this. And then all of a sudden in November, our contamination numbers exceeded our June, July numbers. So, I mean, highest they have ever been. Glass shot back through the roof. So that kind of tells us that we need to stay in front of you. We need to keep pushing that communication, and staff is committed, council is committed. They have directed us, get it done, and communicate as often as possible. Keep it in front of you so that you're thinking about it constantly. We are going to be meeting with the local schools to try to incorporate some of this knowledge into their science curriculum, things like that. School district's always been a great partner there. Maybe if we educate the kids, they can help us educate the adults as well.
That's right.
So staying in front of you, you have definitely shown us that is the key to help righting this ship for certain.
Yeah.
So one of the other ones was why is Signature Waste not communicated? I think they have, but it's really not their business. I mean, that's not what they're geared to do the way we are. So Signature Waste does have the information on their websites. Obviously, we've got a recycle page on our website, and we're going to continue to ramp that up. And we're working with Signature Waste. We're getting information from them. We're researching information ourselves, trying to package it all together so that we can give you almost a one-stop shop, one place to go for all the information.
Yeah. So can we lower the trash fee if there is no recycling service, or if we're limiting the recycling service? Right now, we're not paying for recycling. We never have. And Signature is actually now, instead of receiving money for that material, again, paying the processor to take that material off our hands. So if recycling goes away, there's probably not going to be a fee reduction. We're putting that additional material, some are, if they're not taking it to the recycling facilities themselves, going to be adding it to their trash bin. And so there's not, the $14.80, again, as we had mentioned before, is specifically for trash. We've never paid for recycling, and that you almost have to think of the two as separate entities, even though the name says the same on the same truck that comes and picks up your materials.
Yes. One truck's headed to the landfill, the other one's headed to the recycling processor, no doubt. So some folks have asked, is it possible if we get rid of recycling, if Signature Waste, if we have to suspend that, can we hire somebody else? Well, I think as Ms. Overman's mentioned more than one occasion here this morning, we can, but it comes with a cost. So, but right now, Signature Waste is our sole provider for these things. So we can't hire somebody else at this point in time. But this isn't a signature waste issue.
That's right.
Yeah, this is not an issue unique to us. The city of Tega Cay. It's not an issue that is unique to signature waste. It's not an issue that's unique to our recycling processor. We shared a link this morning on our Facebook page. It was an NBC News story, 7-minute long. Most important thing in this video that you need to watch, no doubt. They're in Burbank, California. They're a big recycling facility, and they cover everything in 7 minutes. It's fantastic. Encourage you to go watch that video after you finish up with this. But again, hiring another recycle collector, hiring another trash collector, that doesn't make this problem. It does not solve this problem at all. So some folks have wondered, well, since I can't recycle as much, obviously now I have to throw away more, can I get a second trash bin? Signature Waste does offer a second trash bin that is coordinated directly through them, not through the city, and they have a nominal monthly fee for that second bin, and that's to account for the additional tonnage weight that they're having to take out to the landfills. But yes, that is an option if that's the route you want to go. Just contact Signature Waste. All their contact information is on our website, and they'll be happy to arrange that for you.
So what items can still be recycled? The list is pretty small.
Yes,
so cardboard or corrugated material. We say white paper, but really any paper that isn't wax coated, newspapers, things like that, and aluminum. So your aluminum cans, your can of corn, anything like that.
Rinse them out first.
Yes, rinse them out first. Take the lids off. Yeah, take the lid off.
Take the paper off. Yep.
So we do encourage you to take your bagged aluminum cans. We have 2 options for you right now. Our fire department actually collects those for children's burn victims. So you can take those to Fire Station 2. That's the one located on the peninsula at the back end by Rundy Park. And then we've also been notified that the Fort Mill Band is also accepting scrap metal and aluminum. And so we're going to be reaching out to them to see if we can maybe put a drop-off location here within city limits to help them out as well.
And Chief Szymanski has put in a request for an additional trailer for the aluminum cans to put over at Station 1 as well. And that's a great cause. I know we've had a trailer up at Station 2 for as long as I can remember, to help out those children burn units. Fantastic. So if you want to recycle your cans and for it to make a difference, reaching out to the Fort Mill High School Band or taking it up to the fire station, I think, is an excellent option. You're keeping it out of the landfill, and you're supporting 2 very worthy organizations, no doubt.
Absolutely.
So, are the items recycled at Baxter or taken to the Baxter Convenience Center? Are they being recycled? As far as we know, they are. We don't have any reason to think that they're not. Again, the county has, if you've ever been to the convenience center, everything is sorted. The cardboard here, the paper here, plastics, recycle, or the glass, things like that, it's all sorted. So they have a contractor who does that, who will collect those items from them. They've recently just built a new recycle facility, and I'm looking forward to personally touring that after the first of the year. But their stuff is basically shipped off, so to speak. So as far as we know, for right now, it's all being collected, it's all being recycled. But again, the plastics, they're being baled and more than likely stored in the majority of it stored in a warehouse until hopefully that market comes back around. So, but if things change, I'm certain that the county will communicate that to all residents of York County, and we'll help communicate that as well once we're made aware of it.
Yeah. So when will we eliminate recycling? So our goal is to not get rid of it at all. While the material that we can accept has gone down, we still want to continue to accept the material that we can. I feel like this is a fluid topic, right? Every couple of months we come before you, we do a video, we talk about what's the next thing that's been taken off the list. We get it. It's not ideal. It's far from ideal. It's a very frustrating situation, and it seems like things are continually changing, and the fact is they are. Like I mentioned before, I think it'll probably get worse before it gets better. We're going to continue to communicate everything we can to you so that you are just as knowledgeable as we are, and we're always happy and available to answer any questions and walk through this process with you, because it can be confusing.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about what's happening, how did we get to here. a lot of doom and gloom. So what can people do now?
Sure. So we've always heard the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. That's kind of been the theme since I was a kid, at least. So let's challenge you to add a 4th, and that would be for me to say refuse. And what that means is really having to change your habits. So what are some things that you can do right now to reduce your plastic, reduce your glass? I'm going to show you just a couple of things that I've done in the past 6 months. These are little changes. I used to buy water bottles in bulk all the time. I probably had 2 cases in my second fridge at all times. So I bought a Brita water filter pitcher, and I fill this thing up like 2 to 3 times a day. But I don't buy bottled water anymore. So that's a big change for our household. And you go to the grocery store and you get 37 plastic bags in your cart. And I'm guilty of it. Sometimes these end up, at my house, and I forget to take them. And so I can't say that I do this 100% of the time, but I have tried to make an effort to do this. So this is just a reusable grocery bag. I take this in my cart and I fill it up and keep the plastic bags at the store. Produce, so the same thing when you get your apples or your bananas or your cucumbers, you get the bag off the roll, you tie it up. That single-use plastic can't ever be used again. Biggest contaminator is single-use plastic. So these are produce bags. They're reusable. You take your produce home for you. So those are just a couple of things. Amazon has a great program. They have frustration-free packaging, so you can actually buy your materials without the packaging.
Farmers markets.
Absolutely, buy fresh produce so that you don't have as much waste.
Catawba Fresh, I think, is probably one of the closest ones. I know the city of Rock Hill has big farmers markets during the spring, summer time frame where you don't have that packaging that ends up just being waste. So, good stuff. So, I know this has been a little lengthy. Not to worry, it's still full of information. We wanted to make sure that we try to address as many of the comments that were coming in, at least at this point. Keep an eye on our social media. Keep an eye on our website. Subscribe to the Rewind if you haven't already. It's our weekly e-newsletter. Right now, I think we're hitting about 4,000 or 5,000 individual email addresses. Problem is, not all of those email addresses are here in Tega Cay. If you know somebody that's not, share it with them. Share your post. Share our post with people on your social media. The more people we can reach, the better. As I said before, this isn't a Tega Cay problem. This isn't a signature waste problem. This isn't our collection, our processor company's problem. This is a global and definitely a U.S. problem. So watch our social media, share those posts, sign up for the Notify Me on our website where you'll get information from us via email and text there. Channel 115. And again, just stay informed, stay in the know, read the articles. A quick Google search is going to show you hundreds and hundreds of articles on all this information, but stay knowledgeable and keep having the conversations because we're going to keep sending you this information over the days, weeks, months to come. We've got to clean up the contamination or the end result is going to be no more recycling here in Tega Cay, and that is absolutely not what we want to have happen.
So let's all work together. We can fix this problem if we do so, if we make these simple changes. We just want to thank you for your time. Thank you if you're still sticking with us here after 20 minutes. We appreciate it. So let us know if you have any questions.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.